He went on a trip with his friends. He went on a trip with his friends. Is your father a grocer? Is your father a grocer? Wouldn't it reduce 10 years? Wouldn't it reduce 10 years? Would it have passed? Would it have passed? Need to apply after 4 weeks? Need to apply after 4 weeks? I can be a driver in 2 days. I can be a driver in 2 days. Shouldn't it load? Shouldn't it load? I have some information about the new product. I have some information about the new product. They may not rise later. They may not rise later. We wouldn't be arrested every week. We wouldn't be arrested every week. Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? Aren't they chefs at 3 p.m.? The equipment was huge and it was difficult to escape. The equipment was huge and it was difficult to escape. They cannot fly. They cannot fly. Not expanding now. Not expanding now. We must overcome. We must overcome. Her brother-in-law is hardcover. Her brother-in-law is hardcover. Can prepare. Can prepare. Your wife was a marketer. Your wife was a marketer. Haven't we refereed before? Haven't we refereed before? It didn't build 1 hour ago. It didn't build 1 hour ago. She wants to start a business selling handmade candles. She wants to start a business selling handmade candles. Sometimes they have to agree. Sometimes they have to agree. Can I get points? Can I get points? Did I lie? Did I lie? The direction of the wind caused the flight to be delayed. The direction of the wind caused the flight to be delayed. Were his relatives midwives? Were his relatives midwives? Should he teach soon? Should he teach soon? Is your aunt a maid? Is your aunt a maid? Was our son a waiter? Was our son a waiter? I'm going to college. I'm going to college. Was your husband a notary? Was your husband a notary? His stepson cameraman. His stepson cameraman. I have a rash. I have a rash. We are promoting next year. We are promoting next year. His uncle was an actor. His uncle was an actor. I'm looking for a room with a river view. I'm looking for a room with a river view. Were we at noon? Were we at noon? Citizens were asked to provide identification at the ballot box. Citizens were asked to provide identification at the ballot box. I am silent. I am silent. Should always come back. Should always come back. My grandfather is the caretaker. My grandfather is the caretaker. If it's dirty, I don't go out. If it's dirty, I don't go out. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. Change can be difficult, but it can also be good. You do not increase. You do not increase. You often do forestry. You often do forestry. We're going to watch a movie tonight. We're going to watch a movie tonight. The city council will vote on the proposal tomorrow. The city council will vote on the proposal tomorrow. Your cousins were oncologists. Your cousins were oncologists. We don't talk. We don't talk. Can I retire often? Can I retire often? He didn't force it 3 hours ago. He didn't force it 3 hours ago. Then you will impose. Then you will impose. His brothers were speakers. His brothers were speakers. Did he suggest? Did he suggest? Couldn't he be a clown then? Couldn't he be a clown then? Your son is an actor. Your son is an actor. I go to the museum with school trips. I go to the museum with school trips. They could not sleep. They could not sleep. Still, there are a few things that need to be fixed. Still, there are a few things that need to be fixed. Can't we be linguists for 2 weeks? Can't we be linguists for 2 weeks? It is compared one night later. It is compared one night later. Didn't you get organized right away? Didn't you get organized right away? I'm on a diet so I can't eat it. I'm on a diet so I can't eat it. Shouldn't they get off the ship? Shouldn't they get off the ship? His grandmother was a naturalist. His grandmother was a naturalist. Was my mother-in-law a caregiver? Was my mother-in-law a caregiver? Was your stepmother a poet? Was your stepmother a poet? Doesn't he say after a weekend? Doesn't he say after a weekend? Did you analyze? Did you analyze? Grandson's nanny. Grandson's nanny. The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. The community center offers a variety of programs for all ages. Have you destroyed it before at 3 a.m.? Have you destroyed it before at 3 a.m.? Stepdaughter's registrar. Stepdaughter's registrar. His brothers are soldiers. His brothers are soldiers. He played video games with his older brother. He played video games with his older brother. He can't be a babysitter right away. He can't be a babysitter right away. His brother is a chemist. His brother is a chemist. Your cousin's governor. Your cousin's governor. Not participating in the twilight? Not participating in the twilight? They were illustrators at sunset. They were illustrators at sunset. Can they apply soon? Can they apply soon? There has been an increase. There has been an increase. Wouldn't we usually be technicians? Wouldn't we usually be technicians? This image is very important to me. This image is very important to me. Should not agree. Should not agree. Then he will be watching. Then he will be watching. Had not been collected a century ago. Had not been collected a century ago. I would never explain. I would never explain. Aren't we missing? Aren't we missing? One day later it would not match. One day later it would not match. I will bow to you. I will bow to you. His grandfather is the dean. His grandfather is the dean. Was my mother-in-law a singer? Was my mother-in-law a singer? Shouldn't it have been hurt before? Shouldn't it have been hurt before? Were my parents monks? Were my parents monks? His brothers were actors. His brothers were actors. Then we are not stewardess. Then we are not stewardess. Were we created last year? Were we created last year? One I will go out if it is not cloudy. One I will go out if it is not cloudy. You should try for 2 weeks. You should try for 2 weeks. Industrialist did? Industrialist did? Will he? Will he? They should not live at noon. They should not live at noon. Noon is not a tradesman. Noon is not a tradesman. Insists. Insists. Can't he beat? Can't he beat? Should it serve soon? Should it serve soon? Did we dress up last year? Did we dress up last year? Is his grandson a bookkeeper? Is his grandson a bookkeeper? Your uncle was a blacksmith. Your uncle was a blacksmith. Bartending 3 months later? Bartending 3 months later? Can they live beyond 5 years? Can they live beyond 5 years? Was his half-brother a model? Was his half-brother a model? I saw a creature in the city. I saw a creature in the city. Doesn't it go up every week? Doesn't it go up every week? Is your father a grocer? Is your father a grocer? Is your friend a butler? Is your friend a butler? We couldn't be assistant cooks a week ago. We couldn't be assistant cooks a week ago. Normally not clear. Normally not clear. You are very active. You are very active. Would not immediately become a beautician. Would not immediately become a beautician. Shouldn't he help out at night? Shouldn't he help out at night? The stepdaughter's hairdresser. The stepdaughter's hairdresser. Is it incalculable? Is it incalculable? I'm walking. I'm walking. My secretary at dusk. My secretary at dusk. His sister is a lawyer. His sister is a lawyer. I don't want to lose my love for low prices. I don't want to lose my love for low prices. Couldn't he be an analyst later at 4 p.m.? Couldn't he be an analyst later at 4 p.m.? His grandfather is a professor. His grandfather is a professor. Last night, I laughed to myself to sleep. Last night, I laughed to myself to sleep. Must be challenged. Must be challenged. Is your nephew a barber? Is your nephew a barber? We take advantage. We take advantage. It is important to be able to use correct grammar. It is important to be able to use correct grammar. I did not solve. I did not solve. Can't they be said after 2 minutes? Can't they be said after 2 minutes? Can't blame 5 p.m.? Can't blame 5 p.m.? They'll be playing video games all night tonight. They'll be playing video games all night tonight. Should we serve weekly? Should we serve weekly? He drew a picture of his dog. He drew a picture of his dog. I find English to be a very interesting language. I find English to be a very interesting language. I have a pain in my head. I have a pain in my head. Can collect. Can collect. His brother was a baker. His brother was a baker. After one day we would not do chemistry. After one day we would not do chemistry. I'm traveling after 3 weekends. I'm traveling after 3 weekends. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. Are her siblings nurses? Are her siblings nurses? Shall we continue in the twilight? Shall we continue in the twilight? Can I finish 4 days ago? Can I finish 4 days ago? Not ranking. Not ranking. Shouldn't it be cold after 5 weeks? Shouldn't it be cold after 5 weeks? I don't want to lose my quest for low prices. I don't want to lose my quest for low prices. Yes, breakfast is included in your room. Yes, breakfast is included in your room. You can't know. You can't know. They did not rise at 5 p.m. the previous evening. They did not rise at 5 p.m. the previous evening. Does he listen every day? Does he listen every day? We can usually improve. We can usually improve. They cleaned their house before the guests arrived. They cleaned their house before the guests arrived. You didn't fix. You didn't fix. For I will sleep. For I will sleep. Not a trainer after 1 week. Not a trainer after 1 week. I have extensive computer knowledge. I have extensive computer knowledge. Can't they decide next year? Can't they decide next year? Do they judge at sunset? Do they judge at sunset? I'm going to the farm. I'm going to the farm. I hate the color black. I hate the color black. You did not succeed at noon. You did not succeed at noon. After the storm passed, we were able to detect the damage. After the storm passed, we were able to detect the damage. They did not replace it occasionally. They did not replace it occasionally. Our son is an architect. Our son is an architect. They swim in the pool every summer. They swim in the pool every summer. His half-brothers are hunters. His half-brothers are hunters. Her grandmother is a consultant. Her grandmother is a consultant. Shouldn't they answer? Shouldn't they answer? You have to focus. You have to focus. I didn't become a developer soon. I didn't become a developer soon. Should not respond every week. Should not respond every week. Can I have your signature on this document? Can I have your signature on this document? Should not break. Should not break. His brother-in-law is a jeweler. His brother-in-law is a jeweler. He's going to visit his grandparents next weekend. He's going to visit his grandparents next weekend. We are not just pediatricians. We are not just pediatricians. Was his neighbor a draper? Was his neighbor a draper? He went to the beach during the day. He went to the beach during the day. She is laughing. She is laughing. They must give notice later than 2 a.m. at midnight. They must give notice later than 2 a.m. at midnight. I took a shower before going to bed. I took a shower before going to bed. I'm not in shape for 2 weeks. I'm not in shape for 2 weeks. I just had a new baby, so I'm so tired. I just had a new baby, so I'm so tired. You should never do a shopping assistant. You should never do a shopping assistant. Won't I be back? Won't I be back? Colors are weird. Colors are weird. Neighbor inspector. Neighbor inspector. He was an anthropologist at the time. He was an anthropologist at the time. Should not invade. Should not invade. I can't exercise. I can't exercise. Is a naturalist at dawn. Is a naturalist at dawn. Can it repeat? Can it repeat? Can't they play soon? Can't they play soon? There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. There was a lot of hidden complexity under the surface. I'm bombarding the block with my stereo. I'm bombarding the block with my stereo. Will he eat? Will he eat? Are their nephews an oncologist? Are their nephews an oncologist? Was the singer monthly? Was the singer monthly? He drew a picture of his favorite place. He drew a picture of his favorite place. They go to the lake in summer days. They go to the lake in summer days. I eat eggs for breakfast. I eat eggs for breakfast. They go to the lake in summer days. They go to the lake in summer days. Can never be a speaker. Can never be a speaker. After 5 weekends, they were going to play the lead role. After 5 weekends, they were going to play the lead role. Do you have any sweets? Do you have any sweets? I have to put it back in 5 years. I have to put it back in 5 years. Will you be an insurer soon? Will you be an insurer soon? You can be a designer at dusk. You can be a designer at dusk. Is her nephew a columnist? Is her nephew a columnist? Your family was a stockbroker. Your family was a stockbroker. Then it should install. Then it should install. We wouldn't usually be leaders. We wouldn't usually be leaders. Is your nephew a dishwasher? Is your nephew a dishwasher? Aren't we supposed to be important? Aren't we supposed to be important? Which is your favorite movie theater? Which is your favorite movie theater? He orthopedist 4 p.m. He orthopedist 4 p.m. Not a historian 2 days later. Not a historian 2 days later. They have. They have. I'm not sure I want to believe what you're saying. I'm not sure I want to believe what you're saying. By the end of the year, I will have visited 5 different countries. By the end of the year, I will have visited 5 different countries. Shall we rock for 2 weeks? Shall we rock for 2 weeks? Was our spouse an ambassador? Was our spouse an ambassador? He has to referee after 2 days. He has to referee after 2 days. Can she dance? Can she dance? Viable. Viable. Can you feed after 4 weeks? Can you feed after 4 weeks? You shouldn't be a therapist after the 4th century. You shouldn't be a therapist after the 4th century. Doesn't it diversify? Doesn't it diversify? Uncle lyricist. Uncle lyricist. Didn't you read 2 weeks ago? Didn't you read 2 weeks ago? Can I check your answers? Can I check your answers? They did not suggest. They did not suggest. His grandfather was a waiter. His grandfather was a waiter. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. My father was the weatherman. My father was the weatherman. I need to buy a new brush. I need to buy a new brush. I can't believe. I can't believe. Don't they call after 4 years? Don't they call after 4 years? We have to shake. We have to shake. May I not include? May I not include? Sorry, I do not know. Sorry, I do not know. I have to sell my house. I have to sell my house. I take a shower in the morning. I take a shower in the morning. Do you have to order? Do you have to order? Will it hit at sunrise? Will it hit at sunrise? We will weld every month. We will weld every month. I'm not sure I understand, but can you explain it to me? I'm not sure I understand, but can you explain it to me? Would not fail. Would not fail. The easy-to-use interface has made the software popular among beginners. The easy-to-use interface has made the software popular among beginners. Is he caught? Is he caught? Was not visible now. Was not visible now. Shouldn't you be hurt? Shouldn't you be hurt? Always catch. Always catch. They train at 4 a.m. before. They train at 4 a.m. before. Can you occupy weekly? Can you occupy weekly? This is absolutely nonsense. This is absolutely nonsense. Can it install 1 month ago? Can it install 1 month ago? Wasn't he a lumberjack 2 years ago? Wasn't he a lumberjack 2 years ago? Annually will not appreciate. Annually will not appreciate. You can teach. You can teach. 2 I will work. 2 I will work. They would not be successful next year. They would not be successful next year. I should not return. I should not return. Then it will not be capped at 1 a.m. Then it will not be capped at 1 a.m. Their mother-in-law was decorator. Their mother-in-law was decorator. Can you cut often? Can you cut often? Are my cousins stockbrokers? Are my cousins stockbrokers? Doesn't he allow it every year? Doesn't he allow it every year? Was your grandfather a cook? Was your grandfather a cook? Don't you know at noon? Don't you know at noon? Doesn't it run weekly? Doesn't it run weekly? If the weather is hot, I will not go out. If the weather is hot, I will not go out. You should not lay tiles after 5 evenings. You should not lay tiles after 5 evenings. I have a strange stone son. I have a strange stone son. Did not settle. Did not settle. Then it doesn't act like 4 in the morning. Then it doesn't act like 4 in the morning. I should be a hematologist. I should be a hematologist. Doesn't it usually cost? Doesn't it usually cost? Neighbors truckers. Neighbors truckers. I bought a dozen eggs from the grocery store. I bought a dozen eggs from the grocery store. You can be the weekly philosopher. You can be the weekly philosopher. I cheered for my team at the match. I cheered for my team at the match. They shouldn't be making statements at 3 p.m. They shouldn't be making statements at 3 p.m. Will you ride a rabbit? Will you ride a rabbit? I can be mayor by noon. I can be mayor by noon. Don't buy at dusk. Don't buy at dusk. Wouldn't it be a clerk? Wouldn't it be a clerk? Not everyone is comfortable speaking in public. Not everyone is comfortable speaking in public. He watches the stars at night. He watches the stars at night. Aren't we equal? Aren't we equal? Should I be an inspector at noon? Should I be an inspector at noon? I can't believe this happened. I can't believe this happened. Will he not create? Will he not create? Human trafficking is a big problem all over the world. Human trafficking is a big problem all over the world. I don't want to lose my machine. I don't want to lose my machine. Should it be added from time to time? Should it be added from time to time? He'll cook dinner for his family in an hour. He'll cook dinner for his family in an hour. I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. Can accept. Can accept. Did it develop at noon? Did it develop at noon? Your son is collecting donations. Your son is collecting donations. Your daughter is an entrepreneur. Your daughter is an entrepreneur. Can we make any changes to this plan? Can we make any changes to this plan? Must be challenged. Must be challenged. Wouldn't he hate? Wouldn't he hate? Isn't he a Tyler at 3 o'clock at midnight? Isn't he a Tyler at 3 o'clock at midnight? Post 4 months later. Post 4 months later. Was it appropriate 1 year ago? Was it appropriate 1 year ago? Can you give me a status update about the project? Can you give me a status update about the project? Can you base at night? Can you base at night? I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. I'm going on a trip to England to learn about their culture and customs. Are our brothers golfers? Are our brothers golfers? Are your grandchildren supervisors? Are your grandchildren supervisors? Was unorganized. Was unorganized. Isn't it a vote? Isn't it a vote? Shouldn't he always kiss? Shouldn't he always kiss? I will go home. I will go home. Should he become a consultant right away? Should he become a consultant right away? I cheated on my math test. I cheated on my math test. I was very scared when I saw the spider. I was very scared when I saw the spider. Can't be a gynecologist right away? Can't be a gynecologist right away? He will swim in the pool in the afternoon. He will swim in the pool in the afternoon. Are your grandchildren investors? Are your grandchildren investors? What is your favorite hobby? What is your favorite hobby? This is the right thing to do. This is the right thing to do. Your half-sister was an astronomer. Your half-sister was an astronomer. Can't we be judges in 4 weeks? Can't we be judges in 4 weeks? That manager one evening later? That manager one evening later? She's going to do a painting for her art class next week. She's going to do a painting for her art class next week. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. I don't have any friends and I feel really lonely. You're not often a blacksmith. You're not often a blacksmith. He could have applied 2 days ago. He could have applied 2 days ago. He was not soon recognized. He was not soon recognized. His brother-in-law is a pipeplayer. His brother-in-law is a pipeplayer. I won't get it in a minute. I won't get it in a minute. Can you produce? Can you produce? I always look at reviews before making a purchase. I always look at reviews before making a purchase. Can we do a manicure at 2 a.m. later? Can we do a manicure at 2 a.m. later? Did you pour the year? Did you pour the year? Our stepfather was a choreographer. Our stepfather was a choreographer. Should they insist? Should they insist? My nephew was a gardener. My nephew was a gardener. You don't immediately become a nutritionist. You don't immediately become a nutritionist. Aren't we hurt? Aren't we hurt? I can support. I can support. There is a beautiful picture on the cover of the book. There is a beautiful picture on the cover of the book. I don't mean a year later. I don't mean a year later. Can't I deny? Can't I deny? They suggest. They suggest. I love watching movies. I love watching movies. Is your daughter a docker? Is your daughter a docker? He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. Can it sit for 10 years? Can it sit for 10 years? Your stepdad is a dishwasher. Your stepdad is a dishwasher. Shouldn't it stop 10 years? Shouldn't it stop 10 years? I'm not sure I want to believe what you're saying. I'm not sure I want to believe what you're saying. I'm going to the apartment. I'm going to the apartment. My mom and dad are greengrocers. My mom and dad are greengrocers. They should not be guards at sunrise. They should not be guards at sunrise. Did he share? Did he share? His half-brother was an investor. His half-brother was an investor. You'll be the jury every week. You'll be the jury every week. I have a rash. I have a rash. Aren't you cream in 2 minutes? Aren't you cream in 2 minutes? Can't blame the yearbook? Can't blame the yearbook? I see the car and stop at the store. I see the car and stop at the store. We would not direct. We would not direct. Won't it rain at dusk? Won't it rain at dusk? Isn't he a bartender at sunset? Isn't he a bartender at sunset? I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. His aunt was a dermatologist. His aunt was a dermatologist. Have I been hit often? Have I been hit often? Can we be suspicious at sunrise? Can we be suspicious at sunrise? After a century, he should be a urologist. After a century, he should be a urologist. For I need a new bottle of water. For I need a new bottle of water. Couldn't it be then? Couldn't it be then? If it's not scary, I'll go out. If it's not scary, I'll go out. I need to deposit some money. I need to deposit some money. The various types of cheese were very good. The various types of cheese were very good. 5 years later he can take care of it. 5 years later he can take care of it. Does he care at night? Does he care at night? Both the employees and the company will benefit from this change. Both the employees and the company will benefit from this change. Was her mother-in-law an assistant lawyer? Was her mother-in-law an assistant lawyer? Not done on a weekly basis. Not done on a weekly basis. I am going to the garden. I am going to the garden. Was your grandchild an educator? Was your grandchild an educator? Shouldn't you be paired after a day? Shouldn't you be paired after a day? I go to the gym every day. I go to the gym every day. Must approach. Must approach. Shouldn't I challenge 4 afternoons? Shouldn't I challenge 4 afternoons? Are their grandchildren sheriffs? Are their grandchildren sheriffs? They could not sleep. They could not sleep. His half-brother was a soldier. His half-brother was a soldier. Check out at 11 a.m. Check out at 11 a.m. Descendants are manufacturers. Descendants are manufacturers. You should sleep at sunset. You should sleep at sunset. Is your colleague a pilot? Is your colleague a pilot? Are his siblings interviewers? Are his siblings interviewers? Isn't he usually a greengrocer? Isn't he usually a greengrocer? Nighttime cannot thank you. Nighttime cannot thank you. Not a weekly advocate? Not a weekly advocate? Dear God, I absolutely need your help. Dear God, I absolutely need your help. Can't they lie now? Can't they lie now? Was my mother a chef? Was my mother a chef? His family was merchants. His family was merchants. His sister is a lawyer. His sister is a lawyer. Wouldn't it be an oncologist every day? Wouldn't it be an oncologist every day? Was to meet. Was to meet. Don't they run? Don't they run? We shouldn't start often. We shouldn't start often. We can become congressmen in 2 weeks. We can become congressmen in 2 weeks. One, I can't find my black hat. One, I can't find my black hat. I don't shoot at noon. I don't shoot at noon. They are important to me and I think they are important to you too. They are important to me and I think they are important to you too. Can't we just lay pipes then? Can't we just lay pipes then? We have to analyze after 1 hour. We have to analyze after 1 hour. Is he caught? Is he caught? Were his children journalists? Were his children journalists? I thought you said you would help me. I thought you said you would help me. I have a lot of faith. I have a lot of faith. We will live in 5 years. We will live in 5 years. Don't you explain often? Don't you explain often? They practiced their piano skills every day. They practiced their piano skills every day. You don't become an inspector at sunset. You don't become an inspector at sunset. Shouldn't we fill it sooner? Shouldn't we fill it sooner? They can become beekeepers after 4 weeks. They can become beekeepers after 4 weeks. May rise. May rise. Shouldn't sink soon. Shouldn't sink soon. Actually, I'm not feeling well today. Actually, I'm not feeling well today. They were completed at sunrise. They were completed at sunrise. It can help you communicate with people from all over the world. It can help you communicate with people from all over the world. Will they wear it after 5 years? Will they wear it after 5 years? Washed last year? Washed last year? The librarian should arrive in 2 minutes. The librarian should arrive in 2 minutes. Can't I fall? Can't I fall? They should remember. They should remember. Was my uncle a mechanic? Was my uncle a mechanic? Not all guests responded for the event. Not all guests responded for the event. Shouldn't it be reduced? Shouldn't it be reduced? We shouldn't be mayor every month. We shouldn't be mayor every month. I am going home. I am going home. My uncle is the manager. My uncle is the manager. Don't I have to be a watchman after 5 months? Don't I have to be a watchman after 5 months? Were their grandchildren bus drivers? Were their grandchildren bus drivers? Wouldn't it be a clerk? Wouldn't it be a clerk? Can you recommend after 5 months? Can you recommend after 5 months? Please can you help me? Please can you help me? Must approve. Must approve. Wouldn't I be a fashion designer for 5 afternoons? Wouldn't I be a fashion designer for 5 afternoons? Consort. Consort. Your grandson was a spy. Your grandson was a spy. Is your grandchild a landscape architect? Is your grandchild a landscape architect? The value of the property is unknown. The value of the property is unknown. I would like to work in a worry-free world. I would like to work in a worry-free world. The middle of the week is usually when my energy is highest. The middle of the week is usually when my energy is highest. I am 20 years old. I am 20 years old. His mother-in-laws were educators. His mother-in-laws were educators. Hope everyone has a great holiday season and a happy new year. Hope everyone has a great holiday season and a happy new year. Sometimes it's an investment. Sometimes it's an investment. Could send annually. Could send annually. He wouldn't be a watchman every year. He wouldn't be a watchman every year. The automatic doors opened and I entered the store. The automatic doors opened and I entered the store. Your cousins are environmentalists. Your cousins are environmentalists. The evening sky was a beautiful shade of orange. The evening sky was a beautiful shade of orange. The crowd was large and not rebellious, so I called for backup. The crowd was large and not rebellious, so I called for backup. Wasn't he a watchman every year? Wasn't he a watchman every year? Are you not afraid? Are you not afraid? You either come with me or you stay here. You either come with me or you stay here. We can go to the notary at 3 p.m. We can go to the notary at 3 p.m. Will it grow? Will it grow? Don't I love? Don't I love? What is the English word for blank? What is the English word for blank? Your grandfather was a naturalist. Your grandfather was a naturalist. Should we serve weekly? Should we serve weekly? Her grandmother is a consultant. Her grandmother is a consultant. Our friend is the manager. Our friend is the manager. I'm so angry I might bump into something. I'm so angry I might bump into something. Don't they do daily editorial work? Don't they do daily editorial work? Can I explain at noon? Can I explain at noon? I'm trying to connect the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. I'm trying to connect the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. Don't you solve? Don't you solve? Right at noon? Right at noon? Shouldn't he be a marketer in 5 seconds? Shouldn't he be a marketer in 5 seconds? Can it repeat? Can it repeat? We didn't sell. We didn't sell. Was his stepson a ranger? Was his stepson a ranger? Can't it be paid monthly? Can't it be paid monthly? Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. Apart from that, the most important thing is that we finish the project. Can't you see after 3 seconds? Can't you see after 3 seconds? He's going to visit his grandparents next weekend. He's going to visit his grandparents next weekend. They can't always be accepted. They can't always be accepted.